lot of polarization, and the conversation is very much on things that are good and things that are bad, fabrics that are good and fabrics that are bad. And hearing you both speak, it feels to me that it's not about right or wrong, but it's right or wrong at a certain place, and it's about reconnecting with nature and how has nature been in a certain place for like millennia, and understanding what should we grow there and how should we manage land there. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
About the place-based nature?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth, do you want to go with that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as place-based, like it's something we're needing to adapt to over time, and it's very emergent, this whole field and this thought school behind regenerative. There are so many innovations happening, and farmers are learning and innovating, and Rodale Institute, our founder, has been deeply involved in bringing organic to the US primarily, but they're also really working on broadening the understanding of regenerative, and they've set up 4 different field stations, research stations around this country, and learning how regenerative practices really respond in certain places. And so that's, you know, one way that we're exploring it. But for us, there's still so much learning to do. We've worked with 19 different brands for our pilot project, and you know, I see so much more learning in our future. And one thing that I really love about what we're doing at the ROA is it's not the federal law on organics, so it allows us to be more nimble and responsive to change and innovation emerging. And so, you know, being very open to that. And,
I would say that the landscape right now is in agriculture is that a very small percentage of the agrarians out there are certified organic. In, like, for instance, in the United States, I think it's it's still perhaps under 2%, I believe. Yeah. Some say it's under 1%, but
it is, I think, 1.
Yeah, it's a really small percentage. Most of agriculture is still reliant upon synthetic nitrogen, a host of pesticide and herbicides, proprietary seeds, all propped up primarily by a federal system that subsidizes those forms of agriculture. So the US is very institutionally supporting forms of agriculture that are a real challenge to marine ecosystems, farmer welfare, health. So to have a place-based conversation about, you know, what kind of agriculture is going to work to transform the soy and corn belt, what kind of agriculture is going to work to transform the San Joaquin Valley in California, which is the vegetable production engine for the country, and the almond production engine for the world. Those kinds of questions about transformation, to me, have to be done through direct conversations between whoever is going to help incentivize that change. Because right now it's the Farm Bill and the federal government in our country. It has to be, you know, it has to be the brands, the people who utilize these raw materials. In our case, those would be textile brands. We very much advocate that they get into the conversation in a pre-competitive way. In fact, that textile brands work together to actually start thinking about how they will invest in farms. Because again, if we're going to make this transformation, we need to pull 99% of the agriculture in America into a different state than it's in right now. Yeah. So to meet those folks where they are, it's only really done through like your own community. You have to go out on the landscape, you have to get in your vehicle, you have to go meet people on the farm, talk with them about their challenges, their vision for their future, and you distill basic principles of desire out of anyone who's on land, that they want their life to be able to thrive into the future, and they want their children to be able to inherit some of this lifestyle that they have seen as being very degraded since the Green Revolution. There's very few farmers who are like, oh, this is working great for me. They're all basically saying we're going to be out of business at any financial quarter. You choose. We don't know if we can pay back loans. So
the farm median income was like negative $1,800 for the last few years on average, right? So totally I mean, our farmers are in a desperate place here in this country. That model's not working.